Welcome to Basement Movie Room. We're back. It's been a while, friends of Basement Movie Room. Although there aren't many of you, although the Indonesian community has been strong. It has been strong. I'm hoping you guys come back. And if you speak English, we would appreciate some comments. Yeah. All right, so we're here and we're going to...
Or if you don't,
give
us comments anyway.
We'll take them.
Yeah.
I don't care.
We'll Google it.
I'll freetranslate.com it.
Yeah.
So we're here. We have watched 2 movies tonight and 1 movie within the last couple of weeks. It is Barbarian. It is Blade. And it is Infernal Affairs. If you haven't seen any of these movies, we're going to spoil the ever-living poop out of them.
Yep.
I'm keeping it PG.
Yep. If you haven't seen it,
watch it, then come back.
Watching us.
Yeah.
Either way.
All right, Barbarian is going to come up first. So Barbarian is directed by Zach Krieger, one of the whitest kids you know. Rest in peace, Trevor. Trevor died like last year. And we watched that on HBO Max, I believe. Was that last week or the week before? I think it was the week before. Yeah. So Barbarian is starring somebody I can't remember the name of, and a Skarsgård child.
Yes.
And Justin Long, who is also in another movie we watched tonight, sort of.
Definitely was in that movie.
So Barbarian is the story of basically a Airbnb gone wrong. Completely wrong. And it is enjoyable. I'll tell you, I'm going to just come out right out of the gate and saying Barbarian is a must-watch if you are a fan of horror or a fan of films. I think it's a well-made film. What did you think?
Yeah, it...
Before I go into the plot description.
I totally enjoyed this movie. Like, going into it, I heard good things about it, but, I'm skeptical about horror movies because...
I don't blame you.
Yeah, so... I go in kind of cautious with it. And
caustic?
Caustic. It came out...
Very caustic.
But
I'm going to burn this film.
I came out very, very pleased with how this movie played out.
This is terrific.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's terrific. So, Barbarian, we start out following the main character, a female whose name I do not remember, and I'm not going to go into it.
Fantastic.
At this point. She's really good.
Yeah.
She's a British actress, if I remember. I just can't remember her name. She shows up at her Airbnb in Detroit, Michigan, which is, everybody's favorite vacation destination, including the Buffalo Bills, who played there this week because there's like 8 foot of snow in their field right now.
Yeah.
Did you see that picture? Of Buffalo? Holy crap.
It would have been fun to watch that game in the snow.
Yeah.
It would have just been a pads.
Little guys running through the snow. The running backs, what was it? Montgomery and who is the other running back? Singletary.
Yeah.
Not Montgomery. Singletary is who I was thinking of. Like, he's like 5'7". Yeah. He would have been running through the snow. It would have been hilarious.
You would have literally seen, like, the Madden playbook.
Just the snow moving. It would have been great. But they move it to Detroit, where this movie is set. So she rolls up to her Airbnb and realizes that the key is not there, and discovers that the Airbnb has been double booked with Bill Skarsgård, which is never a good idea because he's Pennywise.
Yeah.
So
right off the bat, you're thinking
it's uncomfortable.
Actor,
yeah.
You know that he normally plays a bad guy.
Yeah.
And so they're setting you up for what's to come.
Yeah.
With him being a possible bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's uncomfortable because if you were in this situation in real life, it would be wholly uncomfortable, especially as a female.
Yeah. Why are you here?
Like, why are you here? So he says, I booked this through Verbo. This is my house as well. And he's like, come on in. We'll figure this out. And the funny thing is, Bill Skarsgård is a good guy. He's not a bad guy. He's like doing everything right. He's like, hey, I understand why you're uncomfortable. I'm not a bad guy. There's this scene with wine where he's like, I'm not going to open the wine because I understand that you may think there's something up with that. and they're trying to figure out what's going wrong. They both book this place, and he's like, well, you can just stay, and then one of us will find a place the next day. Mm-hmm. So she goes in. She's untrusting of him, which you can't blame her. She's a female in the year 2022. It makes sense.
She's totally questioning the whole thing.
She completely questions it. But Sarsgaard plays nice guy.
Yeah.
He's a very nice guy. He's very reasonable in what he does. He doesn't want to scare her. He understands the situation he's in, and he's very reasonable. The wine, they open the wine. They actually end up having a pretty good time together.
Wine normally does that.
Yeah, wine does that, as does beer from our Four Hands Brewery, local brewery.
Unofficial,
not a sponsor, but I do enjoy some Four Hands Brewery.
We could use
contact High Point Brewery. Not brewery. High Point's a theater here in the St. Louis area, which is a fantastic theater, which neither one of us has probably been to.
No.
But we should go to it at some point because it's a fantastic little theater, independent theater. But so Sarsgaard invites her in. They end up sleeping in separate rooms, not together. And
he gives her his room, I think.
Yeah, he offers it to her, but she doesn't take it. He offers her his room. And spoilers, in case you haven't seen this, there's going to be spoilers in this review.
Lots. All the reviews.
Yeah. I mean, watch Red Letter Media's review. You can get the full spoilers, but because I think they're a little bit better at explaining movies than me. But so they stay the night together to try to figure this out. The next day, she goes, and it comes up that they're kind of like, her interest and his interest are related because she's like going to try to work for a jazz music documentarian, and he is actually a jazz musician. That's there in Detroit for like setup, like some kind of like jazz commune or something in this shitty area of Detroit that they're in. Which shitty area of Detroit really probably doesn't explain where we are because Detroit is not, what it once was. I'm not going to insult Detroit. It's a great American city. I'm going to be honest. It's a great American city, but Detroit has had some rough times. And it's not the greatest place to stay. And she has stayed in, I can't remember the name of the area, but
from people that live near St. Louis.
Great area, great city. Don't go there. Please don't visit.
Come out to Wentzville.
Where we actually live.
Suburb
life, motherfucker.
Boom.
So they stay the night there. She goes for her interview the next day, comes back to the house, and they slowly kind of discover the basement of the house. And I guess Sarsgaard kind of goes in the basement first to check it out, what's going on in the basement.
He's going to be the macho guy.
He's going to be the macho dude.
I'll figure it out.
He's being like, you can be a hero, baby. Don't please don't meme me for that. But he goes to the basement first, and she's worried about him because he disappears when he goes in the basement. She goes in the basement to follow him and discovers a secret door in the basement. At that point, it's like, that's one of the complaints in this movie. It's like, why don't you just leave? But she's worried about Bill Sarsgaard. So she doesn't want to leave. She discovers a rape dungeon, essentially. Like there's a bed and a camera in there. It's clearly a serial killer's rape dungeon. Why she doesn't leave at that point, I don't know. I don't think it hurts the movie because I think the setup of this movie is kind of the strongest points of this movie. I think you know the setup was great.
Going back and setting it up with who's the actor in this the older guy.
Oh, it's oh crap!
The
Richard
original,
Brake.
The original owner of the house.
Brake.
Setting up his story.
We go back and set up his story
of time, but you understand completely what's going on, and it makes sense as to why this place is like it is.
It's not even that I'm talking about though. It's like the whole setup between her and Bill Sarsgaard's conversation about the tension in that room is like palpable because he understands where she's coming from. Like we're dealing with two millennial actors here. And obviously the Me Too movement has been in place, and that's going to come into play in a little bit in the movie, to be honest. So the Me Too movement, and like he understands like why she would be afraid of him because men can't be trusted in 2022. It's a damn shame, but men have been kind of terrible. And like he understands why she can't trust him, and the setup, it's like uncomfortable almost. You see it from her point of view.
Yeah,
like she's uncomfortable, and he understands that, and he's trying to do whatever he can to make her more comfortable because of this mix.
But it still comes off creepy.
Yeah, I mean, him being Bill Skarsgård comes off creepy.
He's
to be
just
honest.
a creepy looking guy. But like the stuff that he does too is kind of like. Okay, but it's still creepy.
Yeah. He's being a nice guy, but it's like in that realm of overly nice. Yeah, you're right. It's overly nice. I would qualify
he's
as
trying
that.
too hard.
And he's Pennywise.
Yeah.
So it's like everybody who's watching this is like, oh, that's fucking Pennywise. He's going to be the bad guy. Not the case.
Great casting.
It's terrific casting. Zach Krieger did great on casting in this.
Yeah.
Krieger, however you pronounce his name. So... come to find out, he's actually a good guy. No issues there. The first night, they're fine. She goes out for her interview the next day with this documentarian film, and she's like, oh, I'm staying here. And she's like, and the documentarian is like, you should not be staying there. Yeah, really, did you see where you're staying? Yeah. It's like, it's really terrible. And she's like, oh,
it's
I'm
like
fine.
any big city, the worst part of town that you can stay in is where they're at.
Yeah.
But the thing, you got to kind of give her the benefit of the doubt because she did show up at this place at night.
At night, she doesn't realize.
In the rain.
Yeah, she doesn't know. She doesn't know
Detroit. She can't really see anything around.
Yeah,
her.
Nothing at all.
She's got this nice house.
Yeah, it looks very nice.
Yeah. So she's focused on that the whole time.
Yeah,
and she doesn't realize where she's at
until she leaves in the daylight. She kind of realizes where she's at. It looks terrible. It's like burnt out, bombed out places.
She's looking around like,
it's like, oh, where am I staying?
Yeah.
So she sleeps in the main room in the house. I remember that. He sleeps on the couch. Mm-hmm. But the next day she goes out and they're like, you shouldn't be staying there. Why don't you stay somewhere else? And they're like, there's a convention in town. All the hotels are full. I'm not going to say she couldn't have stayed 10 miles out of town. It'd probably been okay, but whatever on that. It is a movie where we need it to be set up as it's set up. So she goes back to the house, and as she's returning to the house, there's a homeless man running down the street. Don't go in the house. Don't go in the house. And she just thinks like some crazy homeless person. She goes in the house, locks herself in. Bill Skarsgård.
Whatever. Yeah, get away from me.
Yeah, Bill Skarsgård's in there, and they decide to check out the basement.
Yeah.
Which is the first mistake in the movie. It's real stupid. It's a horror trope that you check out areas you shouldn't check out. They check out the basement. Bill Skarsgård goes down there, and she kind of loses him, and she's like, oh my God, where are you? I got to go check on you. She goes down there and discovers a secret door, which Bill Skarsgård has clearly discovered or already knew about. That's kind of the feeling we're supposed to get, that he may have already known about this. She discovers the rape dungeon, which is down there, which is just like a twin bed with a camera. And then it goes farther down even. It's like way down. And so
it's
she...
like never ending.
Yeah, it seems forever. So she continues going down there. She discovers Bill Skarsgård runs back. Is like, we got to get out of here. And then he is like murdered.
Yeah.
Sorry, spoilers!
It's just the whole hallway scene is so creepy.
It's suspenseful. It's dark. It makes it gets you that feeling in the gut.
The people that come into the light, like, it's not like a jump scare or anything, but it's like it's slowly creepy. You're creepy in the dark.
You know what?
You got two people that are trying to survive, and it just gives you that.
You know what I compare it to? You remember the end of Blair Witch?
Yeah,
where the guy's in the corner
100%.
And Heather Donahue is there. It feels very much like that, except we don't think it's real. Obviously, we know it's a movie. Some people thought the Blair Witch was real, which was crazy.
And
Andy,
even at this point, though, I still don't feel like Skarsgård is. I think he's like playing this out.
You feel like he does, but then he gets killed.
This out. Yeah.
Then he gets killed.
Yeah,
I mean, like all of a sudden you see him. He's like, "We gotta get out of here. We gotta get here." Dead.
Yeah.
And at that point, he is not the bad guy here. He was a good guy. We don't have any worries about him. And then it's just like boom, flashback to 1960s or 1970s. I don't know which one it is.
Yep.
With Richard Brake. We get a whole scene. I guess it's like 15, 20 minutes with Richard Brake in the 70s, where
when they were in their Detroit was in its heyday.
This was fine. Yeah. We were with GM was
Ford's
rocking.
booming,
GM and Ford were rocking in there. And since heyday, and Richard Brake is talking to his neighbor, and his neighbor's like, we're getting out of here. The neighborhood's going downhill. And Richard Brake, I'm never leaving,
It's like the Carter era.
And it shows him go out, and you get this slow feeling that he's not a great guy, where he's like telling a person, I'm having a baby, and she's giving me all his supplies, and then he's stalking a lady, and he puts on a uniform for a electric company or something. It doesn't, not even electric company, it just says Pablo on it, which is weird because he's clearly
works for the city.
Yeah, he works for the city. He goes to this house, and you clearly get the feeling he's a serial killer or a serial rapist of some kind. And then as that scene ends, she's returning to the house.
Yeah,
we return to the house, and this is where she goes in the basement with Actually, no. She's already done that. She's already gone in the basement, and we get to Richard Brake scene. And then we go to Justin Long out of nowhere.
Yeah.
To be honest, we go to Justin Long,
just
California. Happy, sunny California, where he's being accused of rape by one of his co-stars. He's a Hollywood star. He's in a new show, being accused of rape. And he's like, no, I'm not this. And then we get the fact that...
It's a bunch of BS,
Yeah, he's in Me
trying
Too
to
movement.
ruin my career.
You get the feeling he's not a great guy in this movie. And honestly, Justin Long's perfect casting for this because he looks like such an innocent guy.
Yeah.
So he goes, he ends up having to pay a bunch of legal fees to defend himself from this rape allegation and the civil suit. And he ends up having to go back to Michigan and stay in a house he owns,
He's running
which
out of
is
money.
the house.
He loses all of his...
Yeah. Loses his show,
money,
everything.
So
has
he
to go
has to
back to
move
Michigan,
back,
where
to
he's
this
from,
place.
and he's living in his house that he owns there. It's an investment property.
Yeah.
And as he goes in the house, he discovers that there's been people there, that there may be somebody staying there, and it's obviously the bags of Bill Skarsgård and our main character, whose name I can't remember, and I feel bad for that because she's terrific in this.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts snooping around.
We should see her in more stuff.
Yeah, she's terrific. Yeah. She's terrific. She's in that other movie that Red Letter Media talked about. I think Mike or Jay really liked. I can't remember the name of it, but she's in a very good movie that they liked, and we need to watch that at some point. But he starts snooping around because he wants to sell the place to make money, and he's measuring everything. And he's like, "Oh, the basement can possibly count in square footage." So he goes down there and discovers the secret room, and how fucking stupid he gets to the rape room and just is measuring it like it's no big deal. Yeah. And then he discovers that there's more and there's underground.
Clearly, he's had that kind of set up before.
Yeah. So he gets to the underground and discovers there's some creepy things going on. He gets imprisoned with our main character, the female character, and discovers that she's been there for a while and that she kind of knows what's going on. And we come to find out ultimately that Richard Brake's character is still alive down there, and that the individual that's imprisoning him is the child of one of his rape victims that he's kind of raised without any interaction in a cage, and she doesn't know, she's not a bad person. She just doesn't know what she's doing, I think.
She's a bit of a barbarian.
Barbarian! So she is imprisoning them and trying to treat them as her child. Because she has this only thing she can watch is this video on raising a child.
She actually reminds me of the old woman from Army of Darkness in the castle scene when it's the crazy,
where they're in the
crazy scene where
down the pit.
Like, come get some.
Yeah. This is my boomstick.
She looks just like that.
Yeah, except totally naked.
yeah, except totally naked.
Totally naked. So we're coming to discover that Richard Brake has been basically raping women and keeping the children and raising them in captivity, and that's who this particular barbarian is
for decades.
Yeah, for decades, and that's who this is. This is a child of one of his rape victims that he raised in a cage, and she thinks she should be capturing these people and take care of them, and if they won't let her take care of them, she's killing them.
Yeah,
and so the main character is talking to Justin Long, and for some reason she immediately trusts Justin Long as opposed to like Bill Skarsgård, because I guess he's in the same situation. She trusts him, and she's like, "We got to get out of here." She wants to be you to be her baby.
Once again, it goes back to Long has a more trusting face than
he does. But there's that scene before he gets into all this where he's with his he says the big F word, not the F bomb, the big F word to one of his friends, and meets his friend at a bar, and he's like, "Oh no, that bitch is like accusing me of shit." And that's Zach Krieger, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. That's Zach Krieger. No. His friend is Zach Krieger, the director of the movie from The Whitest Kids You Know. So as he's in prison, the beast, the barbarian, comes and tries to feed him a bottle and treat him as a baby. She's like, "You have to do this." Like she thinks you're her baby.
Yeah, the hand with the bottle just coming through that grate,
and then
trying to feed it.
Yeah, she takes him. Creepy. She grabs him out and leaves the cage open and tries to breastfeed him. Yes. It is so uncomfortable.
Yeah. All that is just so
very uncomfortable.
Which makes you the lead had to have done that.
Yeah, seems so.
Yeah, that's why she's still alive. So
seems
she's
very
a survivalist. Much so.
Yeah. So she takes this opportunity to crawl out and get out of the house and get to a gas station where she calls the police. Detroit police are fucking shitty. To be honest, they come and they think she's just some druggie or something, calling in craziness. And they go to the house and they're like, "Oh, did you break this window?" Because that's how she escaped. And they're like, they don't believe her.
Yeah.
So they leave.
Yeah, the neighborhood that they're in, I mean, they're like, okay.
They don't believe her.
We're out of here.
Yeah, they don't believe her. So they leave, and she feels, for some reason, some responsibility to rescue a guy she's known for 5 minutes. Sorry. And goes back in the house to rescue Justin Long, who at this point has kind of escaped from the main gal and got to Richard Brake's room and discovered that he's still alive down there and that somehow he's getting food and stuff. Plot hole, I give you that. It's ridiculous that he's lived for this long with no food underneath the house. But I'm willing to forgive it for the rest of the movie because it's well written and well done. So he's discovered that and he's escaping. She helps him get out, and they get out at night and they meet that homeless man earlier that had come back.
Honestly, they could have gone without that whole scene.
The homeless man?
No, the Richard Brake.
Richard Brake. Yeah, they could have done without
They could have done well with like just having a corpse.
They could.
In the bed.
It would have been fine.
And no food.
Because he didn't say anything. Would have been.
Yeah.
He says nothing, and he's just done. Yeah. He kills himself.
Just put a corpse in the bed.
Yeah.
I think that would have been a lot better of a scene.
I mean, the assumption is that she's probably like breastfeeding him to keep him alive.
That's the only.
Yeah, that's the only.
He's got stuff in the room.
Yeah.
So unless she's going out and
she's
taking
foraging at night, but there's no real houses around there. Is the problem. In any case, they both get out. She rescues Justin Long. They both get out and they go down the street. The homeless man comes up and like, "Oh, come with me. It was safe." And which is the funniest part of the movie. God. He takes him into like his little like hovel, like his homestead.
Yeah.
He's like, they're like, "Well, like, why didn't she come here?" And he's like, "I've been living here for 15 years and that bitch ain't never come here." Yeah. And she just immediately when he says that, busts through the wall, tears his arm off and kills him.
Yeah. And that's when the movie went freaking nuts.
It's crazy. It's off the rails at that point. But it's still good.
Yeah.
So they run up a water tower or some kind of tower at some point, and Justin Long, showing his true colors, sacrifices our main character to save his own ass.
Yeah.
But she doesn't die. He goes down and discovers she's not dead. The monster is not dead as well. He thought he killed her, and the monster kills her, and ultimately she escapes. At that point,
kills Long.
Yeah, she kills the monster kills Long.
Yeah.
The monster is gone. The main character escapes.
Yeah.
But that's kind of it. And the way I'm describing it is anticlimactic. It's better than that, to be honest with you. It's way better than what I'm
still got to check it out.
Yeah, you got to check it out. I think it's well written. It's well done. horror movie wise, it's probably one of the best in the last 10 years. I'm not gonna say it's the best, but I'm pretty high on it myself.
Yeah,
the main actress is fantastic, and I wish I could remember her damn name.
She's constantly like questioning everything that's going on around her.
Yeah, she's a smarter scream queen.
Yeah, so
for sure.
But yeah, is it perfect? No. Is it enjoyable? Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's and I almost think it is perfect.
One of the better horror movies I've seen in a long time.
A long time. Yeah, I mean, it's like Jordan Peele came from comedy and is making these fantastic horror films. Although Us was not my favorite. I love Get Out. Get Out's fantastic.
Yeah.
Us was not my favorite.
Yeah.
But this is along the same lines where we have a comedy director coming out and making a fantastic horror film. And it's really interesting because comedy and horror are, I think, relevant to each other, because comedy takes a certain ability to understand their audience, and I think horror does as well.
I think comedians are pretty self-aware.
Yeah, very much so.
And so they kind of see things in a different light. So it makes it a little easier for them to produce something like a horror movie.
There's no doubt. Yeah. I mean, I think it's true. I think comedy and horror kind of go hand in hand, because it's like comedians understand real life and what is funny with real life, and I think they translate it to horror and understand what can scare people as opposed to make people laugh.
And then, some guys will have a comedy act that makes fun of horror movies. Like, why does she run up the stairs?
And that's the thing. The tropes are all in this movie.
Yeah.
The tropes are all in this movie, but they're less apparent because it's like there's reasons behind it. When she goes down the basement, it's because Bill Skarsgård is down there. She needs to help him.
Yeah.
When she goes, when she escapes and comes back, it's because Justin Long is there and she thinks she needs to help him. There's no bad reason for her to get into these situations. It's a good reason because she is a good person, as opposed to a selfish person like Justin Long ends up being in this movie. She's a good person.
Justin Long's character building in the short period of time that he's in this movie is pretty amazing.
Everybody's character building is great.
I mean,
even her.
You feel like you know these characters.
Yeah.
Even though you're spending a short period of time.
Skarsgård is the least developed character, but even
you
him.
understand him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the least developed character,
but you don't, because you're constantly on edge.
You're questioning him.
Because you're like, you're it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we went in this movie knowing nothing about it.
Yeah.
And that's the way to go into this movie. So if you listen to the review, I'm fucked up.
Yeah.
So
watch it first.
Sorry, guys. I ruined this movie for you. Or I made this movie better for you. I don't know. But the movie is so well done. I mean, the first 45 minutes is not the horror part of it. And that's what I like. I when we were watching it, I was like, this is really fucking good. I said that to you in the first 45 minutes where there wasn't any horror. This is really good. This is really well done. I'm shocked at how good this is. I didn't expect it. I'd heard it's good, but I'm like, oh, it's just a horror movie. I don't know. And I was like, this is really good. This is really, really doing a good job at what it's supposed to do.
And it even threw us off, because we're like, oh gosh, okay, girl, guy.
I was sure Skarsgård was going to be
nice
the bad
house,
guy. Yeah,
but the guy's not supposed to be there. It's like, okay, we already see where this is going, but it throws a nice little curveball.
Oh, no doubt, huge curveball.
Yeah, so I love it when that happens in a horror movie.
Absolutely. I mean, it's it's the perfect way to do a horror film. It's not unlike our other horror films. It's very much like another horror film, but I think the benefit this has is that they take their time with it. It's like we go to Friday the 13th, something like Friday the 13th. We're getting to introduce all the characters, but they're just horny teenagers in Friday the 13th. This is not the same thing.
Yeah.
We have career people that are getting into this situation, and they give them reasons, like I said, to do the things they do, as opposed to just be like, I'm a stupid asshole, like most horror films.
Real life.
I mean,
people.
I go back to Scream. when I watch something like this. Like Wes Craven with Scream, he gave us reasons to like the characters, even though like Drew Barrymore, even who dies very quickly in Scream, we have a reason to connect with that character. She's just a normal human being. It's not like we're dealing with somebody making stupid decisions. She's just somebody who gets murdered in Scream. I think, and I don't think this movie's like Scream, but it's the best comparison I can get is to like character building. And then after Drew Barrymore, we meet Sidney Prescott, who's Neve Campbell's character.
Right.
Things like that. We build character before we get into the whole plot of the movie, and I think that's important horror. I think that's a lot of things that modern horror is missing outside of like
100%.
Yeah, A24 and firms like production companies like that, which is not A24. This is, I guess, Warner. I don't know. It's on HBO Max.
You spend enough time on these characters and not too much time.
You got to get that character
boring.
Yeah, you got to be invested in these characters, and you are with Bill Skarsgård and the main character, who's again, I'm really sorry, I don't remember the name.
You tell a good story in a short period of time with each character, and this is what you got.
Yeah, this is terrific. Zach Krieger, I look forward to any movies he's going to make going forward.
the inbred in this.
Yeah. She's not giving a backstory, but you understand where she's come from.
What's going on there. Yeah. So, who's the true barbarian?
It's Justin Long.
Yeah.
Justin Long is the true barbarian in this movie. The guy's a complete douchebag in this movie. And he doesn't know that he's the bad guy, but he really is the bad guy.
Yeah.
And like the monster in this movie is not a bad guy.
Doesn't even say, am I a good guy doing bad things?
He thinks he's just a good guy.
Yeah.
But he's not. He clearly did what he is accused of.
Yeah.
The monster's not a bad guy. She's just doing what she thinks is right.
Well, even his act of sacrificing her.
Yeah.
For his
complete douche move.
For his benefit.
Yeah.
Twice.
He only thinks about himself.
It was twice.
The main character only thinks about others. Yeah. He thinks about herself.
He sacrificed her twice.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah. He's such a terrible person in this movie. But yeah,
he doesn't come off as just a horrible person. That's the thing.
No,
he's likable.
He's likable, but also terrible.
He's an a-hole.
Yeah.
So
he's Harvey Weinstein Jr.
Yeah.
Don't sue me.
Is that what he called his?
That's what he called his dick. Yeah, you can say dick. We're okay.
Just long.
Okay. So let's go to rating. I think we talked like 30 minutes about this movie.
Yeah,
that's how good this movie is, that we've talked 30 minutes about this movie at this point. So let's go to rating, and I'm going to give it to you first because I think you're going to be lower than me because
I don't think so.
Where are you at?
I can't give it a perfect score.
So you're lower than me.
I was a tick under a perfect score because I do mine in 0.1s. So I'm at a 4.9.
Yeah, that's pretty close. I'm at a 5. This is a perfect movie for me. Why are you at a 4.9 though?
I mean, the whole time I'm entertained. The whole time, you think you have a movie figured out at a certain point, but then it throws a curveball at you.
And this one does.
And that did that for me. And you didn't have the typical stupid horror crap that's going on.
They're in there, but they make more sense.
There's explanation. Story building's great. I cared about the characters more than anything. I cared about the characters. And, I mean, just the creepiness involved.
Yeah.
It had the hairs on my neck raising at times. I'm like, oh, okay. That's a great horror movie for me. So
it works well.
4.9.
Yeah. I'm at a perfect 5 because I don't do half scores or anything. I don't do points. So I'm at a perfect 5. This is my favorite movie of the year. This is right above The Batman for my favorite movie of 2022.
Oh.
I'll be honest. It's right above The Batman. Yeah. So I think I connected with this movie so well because this movie like takes the horror tropes and sets them to the side and uses them.
Yeah.
Like, everything makes sense in this movie. Like, it's my favorite movie of the year, and it's fucking November. I mean, Violent Night maybe can take this one. No, it won't take this one over.
I don't know.
We're going to review that one, and we're going to the theater to review that one, so be prepared. That is in 2 weeks, my friends.
I'm excited about it.
I'm so excited. But yeah, the fact that this takes horror tropes and explains them, I think makes this a perfect movie. And the casting is impeccable. I love Bill Skarsgård as the bad guy because everybody's like, "Oh my god, it's it! He's going to be the bad guy."
The guy.
It's the guy.
And yeah, once I saw him, I was like, "Gosh, dang it! This movie, it's not going to be as good as what people are saying." But yeah,
it's as good as people are saying.
Yeah.
And then casting Justin Long is kind of like the rapist douchebag.
Yeah,
also works because Justin Long he's the Mac guy. He's the porn star from Zack and Miri Make a Porno.
Oh
he's the gay porn star. And it's like he's never played a role where he's technically not a good guy.
Yeah.
I mean, at least that I've seen. I guess maybe he has, but I didn't see Tusk. Maybe he's a bad guy in Tusk. But yeah, I mean, casting him in this role is perfection. Everything's casted to perfection. Everything's terrific. The whole world building at the first between Bill Skarsgård and the main character is just perfect.
Hour and a half? Hour and
40? Where are we at right now? You got it on the screen.
Yeah,
I think we're at
hour and 40.
We're at like 36 minutes into the movie, and we haven't got barely to the horror movie portion of it. I think we're at 36 minutes. Yeah. So 44 minutes in, we just got to the real horror portion where we figured out who our bad guy is.
Yeah, it's like an hour and 45 minutes.
It's really, really well done. It's fantastic. I recommend this movie of the highest recommendation for me.
Watch it in a dark room.
Watch it. Oh, we did. Watch it in my theater room.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Watch it in a very dark room. And
not even that it's that scary. To be honest, this movie is not that scary. It's just so well done for a horror film. It's fantastic. All right. So, anything else to say on this one?
No. Watch it.
Watch motherfucking Barbarian.
Boom. Just do it. Do it.
All right. So, that's Barbarian.